Let's quickly run through how to complete the schematic outline. So as we write our papers and we deal with these different Google Docs that provide us forms we want to fill out, we're going to follow a pretty standard procedure. You're basically going to begin by making a copy of the Google Doc and putting it into your own name. This adds it to your Google Doc file list. So I'm just going to call it Sully's list. Now it's mine. And I'm going to click that OK button. Once I've saved it as Sully's list, and you should probably save yours as your name, schematic outline 1, whatever you want to call it to remember it, then you need to go ahead and properly set the share settings. Let's review how to do this. You always want to set links in this class to not restricted, but change it to anyone with the link can view. When you've changed this to anyone with a link can view, now you can copy the link and you can share it inside Canvas. And your classmates and I will be able to click that link that you share in Canvas and actually see your document. If you don't make that change, it's just going to say restricted, and we're not going to actually see your document even though you provide a link to it. Now that you've created your document, you're going to go through and follow the prompts. So remember, section 1 of paper 1 is going to be focused on one scene from Sula. You're going to attempt to answer the question, how does Morrison use symbolic language to make an argument about human agency and whatever your chosen topic is? At the beginning of your form, you need to choose your topic. The way you indicate your choice is you select it, and then you go up to the font button and you turn it into red. And so now I know what your chosen theme is. Next up, you're going to pick a scene from the novel, from the chapters that we're looking at in section 1. So for section 1, there are 5 chapters that you can choose from. And all you need is one scene from these 5 chapters that you're going to focus on for this part of your paper. Remember, you're going to write 2 paragraphs about this one scene. The first, you're going to use the terminology of literary devices to analyze the language. And the second, you're going to apply the theory, a theoretical concept to the entire scene. So again, you indicate the scene that you've chosen. And by the way, these aren't Morrison's titles for the scenes. I came up with the titles, but they're not official. You can change them. But the page breaks are Morrison's. So these are her kind of intended scenes within the novel. So you pick the one that you're going to focus on. And to tell me that, you put it in red. Then you go down, and now you have a scene. Now you need to go back and go through that scene and find a specific passage that you can really interpret the symbolism. A passage could be a couple sentences, a couple paragraphs, but you want to make sure it's filled with images and metaphors and metonyms and ironies and allusions that you can talk about in terms of the intersection of race and your chosen topic, masculinity, femininity, class, right? So you're going to find that passage, and you're just going to go ahead and type the passage right in here, word for word, and don't forget to provide the page number. That's a really important part of what you want to do in there, okay? So now you've got your passage and your page number. That's in italics. I didn't mean it to be, just right. And again, it can be a couple sentences, it can be a couple paragraphs, but it should be the more the better. The more symbolic language, the better. And then once you've typed it in, you want to go back and put into bold any words that you found that you think are examples of metaphor, metonymy, irony, allusion, imagery that you might actually talk about. So maybe I thought that was a particularly good example of something ironic, or that was a good example of a metaphor. I'm going to put the different symbolic words or phrases I see in bold. And again, all of this is to make sure that you have plenty to write about. Now, once you've identified symbolic language by putting it in bold, now you want to take a look at our literary device, our terminology list, and really think through which ones do you see there. And whichever of these devices you see that you put in bold, you're going to go ahead and highlight. So maybe you saw something that was a metaphor, and again, I'm putting it into red, a metonym, a metaphor, and an image all in one. That's totally fine. Or maybe it's an illusion that's also a metaphor. Either you can select one term, you can say, maybe you'll have all 5 you'll select. That's fine. But you're going to highlight in red a minimum. What are the terms you see in here? So as you can see, we're starting at the level of paper topic. Then we're moving to one scene we're going to focus on in this part of the paper. Then we're trying to find a passage that we're really going to unpack the literary devices in, and we're typing in that language and putting it in bold, and then we're identifying the devices we see there. Now we can start doing what we need to do to prepare for that second paragraph that we're going to be drafting later. And that means we need to pick a theory concept from the readings and the web lectures and our discussions that we want to work with. Again, this is all stuff that you can find in Canvas. I've created a theory resources page that puts you to all the different lectures and resources related to this. Pick out one, I need to put that in bold, one theory concept that you're going to work with. So let's say I was going to work with mother work. All right. And what you're going to do is you're going to highlight that and put that in red. Okay. Now you've chosen a theory concept. You got to do the same thing for theory that you did for the novel. You got to find some language. So now you got to go back and look at the web lecture or look at the article and find some quotes and passages, anything from a couple sentences to a couple paragraphs that you think you could use in your paper. And again, same thing here. When you go through your passages, what you want to do is you want to highlight in bold the key words that you see, the words and phrases that you see as being really important in the concept that you've chosen. These are probably going to be the words and phrases that you're going to integrate into your paper. All right, so once again, you're typing right here into the document the passages from the theory that you're interested in. You're going to include your page number, right? And then you're going to go back and say, oh, I really want to highlight these 2 words. Oh, I really like this phrase over here. That's really important to me. So you're highlighting some of the language that really jumps out at you, which again, later could be the language you actually use in your paper. All right. And again, once you've gone through this form, you're going to provide your classmates with a link to it in the Canvas discussion. Again, you want to make sure that your link is set to anyone on the internet with the link can view. We changed this setting before. Now you're good to copy it and share it out. Make sure, though, it says anyone with the link can view. If it says restricted, no one can view it. You need to change it. You need to click that change button and change it. Okay. Hope that walks you through how to do this.